This video will serve as a great introduction to a wonderful tool called Whiteboard.chat. So if you go to Whiteboard.chat in your browser, you're going to see a web page that looks something like this. Over on the right, you see an iPad screen, and that is going to serve as the student for our demonstration today. The first thing you'll notice is this big blue button right here in the middle of the screen, and when you click on it, you are presented with a few different options. So you can start teaching, which allows you to create a whiteboard and then upload files to it and then give it out to students who each have their own individual whiteboard to work on. You can start collaborating, so create a board and share it with multiple people. Or you can manage your boards, so you can view boards that you've previously created, perhaps for a lesson in advance. And then you can also join a board using a classroom code. So I'm going to start teaching here. And then it immediately brings me into a screen that looks just like this. Now I will mention that since I'm using split view right now, some of my buttons up here are a little bit squished. So generally speaking, I would recommend having your screen in full screen mode so that you can see all of these buttons much easier. We're going to go over just some of the basic controls here, but there's quite a bit to explore. The first thing that I'm going to do is just go down this list here. So this is how I can get back to all of the previous boards I've created. This allows me to insert different things onto my board here. So if I wanted to have, for example, grid paper on it, I can insert that. You'll notice there are a lot of different options here. Clicking on Home is going to take you back to this screen here. The next one is Clear, so if I were to have drawn something on my screen here and I hit Clear, it will clear my board as well as the board for any students that are viewing my board as well. I can download what this board looks like, so it's going to give me a PDF copy of what the whiteboard looks like as well as each individual student's board. I can manage the book, and the book is really the different pages that you've maybe uploaded. For example, if you uploaded a large PDF with multiple pages, it's a book of pages that you have a lot of options in here, and I won't go over all of them because we could spend many minutes going through each one of these. The ones that you're going to use probably the most frequently are right here. So you can add media by taking a picture with your camera. You can move and resize items that you put on the screen. You can select items to move them around using this tool. The Tools button, again, lots of different options here, but you can make shapes and lines and clone items that you've already put on the screen. You can add a link, a YouTube video. You could put a dice up there, compass, calculators, all sorts of different things for students as manipulatives for a math class. I'm going to upload a file from my computer here. And you'll see I uploaded an image of a math problem here. I am going to move and resize this because it's a little bit small. So I'm going to zoom in on the corner here, and I'm going to just kind of scooch it down into the middle of the screen. The next tools down, we've got the Draw tool, Eraser, Text, and the Lasso. This helps you select multiple things on the screen and kind of drag it across and place it where you'd like. What we're going to do here for this demonstration is I am going to add students to this whiteboard, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like on their side as well as the teacher's perspective of this. I'm going to invite a student onto this board by clicking on the Invite button up here in the corner. I've got this QR code, but I could also, for example, copy this link and paste it into Canvas or give students this classroom code to join. So I'm going to scan this with my camera app. Open it in Safari. And then you'll notice the first thing it asks over here on the right is for the student to enter their name. And then they have a whiteboard over here. Now on my side of things, You'll notice I've got this whiteboard over here. I can start answering this problem on what I'll call the instructor's whiteboard. And then students see that on their end as well. So I could be going through and answering this problem and modeling. And the students would see it on their end. Now, if the teacher wanted to see if the students know how to solve this problem on their own, perhaps as a bell ringer activity, what they can do is they can actually be drawing on their own whiteboard as well. So over on the right, I'm going to draw on my iPad here. And you'll see that it's not showing up on my whiteboard on the left. That's because this is the teacher whiteboard, and on the right is the student's individual whiteboard. So a teacher can click on Grid View and see each one of the students as they're working through their problem. I can click on the screen and see what they're doing. I can showcase it so everyone in the class sees it. I could join their board to help correct them in the moment or point out things that they need to fix. And then, it just gives me a nice snapshot of students as they're working through problems on their devices. Now, as the teacher, if I want to go back to single view and just view my own instructor's board, again, I can do, you might notice a couple times that it just refreshes on you. That's usually pretty quick. Now back on my instructor board over here, remember that I can go in and add tools. I can add different pages. For example, if students were working through a math problem that required a calculator, I can give them a calculator on their screen. So that's just a brief overview of how it works. Let's go over just a couple more things that you can do. So again, on the teacher side, I might want to stretch it out so I can see all my buttons over here. What I can do is I can freeze the boards too. So when I click on that, class is frozen for 10 seconds. So then students can't be working on their whiteboard or doing anything to make changes. This can be a great way to get the class's attention and give them directions. I can click on this little paint palette up here and change the color of the whiteboard here. I can also add all of these different math equation symbols in here as well. And then if you look in this, you can actually add in tons of different things. You can add manipulatives, 3D shapes, games, all sorts of different objects in here. Students can raise their hand by tapping on this button up here. So on my student device, I'm going to tap on that and say I raise my hand. I have a question. And then I will be able to, as the instructor, click on here and see that a student has a question. I can click on them and then it actually takes me to their whiteboard so I can see what they're working on. I've got a little timer up here so I can start a timer and say, students, you have 5 minutes to work through this. I can also say per student on join, so if it's a bell ringer activity and I want everyone to do it within the first 5 minutes of class, I can do that. When I click on this up here, what I see is I can make teachers out of the students, so I can click on this and then they can kind of collaborate on the board with me as the teacher. I can create a group board, which allows me to basically assign group boards to groups of students within the class. I can create a chat. I can lock things up. There's lots of different options in here to explore. The settings gear is kind of helpful too because you can choose what tool is kind of the default, how big it is, who can log in. I like to check this one as well where it says students see simple tools, where it kind of just eliminates some of the tools that they see on their screen. So I'm gonna tap on that. And then you'll notice on the right as the student, I only have a few drawing and resizing tools. Again, lots of different options in here. This is also the place that you can save your board and sign out of it. Up here, again, there's lots of different things you can try, locking things, deleting things. You can do polls here as well, so asking little multiple choice polls. And then again, we've got our invite button up here. So this is definitely a tool worth exploring, testing it out, join on a separate device and just see what it looks like. But it's a very powerful and easy to use and get up and running quick tool with lots of advanced features that you'll explore and appreciate once you've had a little time to dig in. So that is Whiteboard Chat in a nutshell. Thanks for watching.